For the people that does know what it means when I'm alone and on Mirage and talking about something, you're welcome. Yes, I'm creating another banger. For those who don't know, this is when I'm usually talking about the game based on my old experience and the knowledge I have on the game. We're gonna talk about today one of the most important positions in whole Counter-Strike that a ton of people tend to forget it's still crucial, because you have to be able to do well while you in this position and not grieve away a ton of possibilities. The position I'm talking about is entry fragging. Entry fragging is a really crucial position, and in today's video I'm gonna break down the different entry fragging. So I'm not only gonna talk about like, oh, you can entry to go in inside. Like, I feel like you heard this 10,000 times before. I'm gonna talk about entry fragging for map control. I'm gonna talk about entry fragging for lurk positions, and I'm gonna talk about entry fragging when we get into the site. So let's start out. If you didn't watch Why You Suck at Mirage, the improved version, I don't know what the fuck you're doing here. Like, just get there and do that. The reason I need you to go there and do that, because you need to first understand what we're gonna talk about here. If you don't know why we're taking mid, and if you don't know why certain map control, why crucial, then you right now not qualified for that. I already made the videos to make you qualified for that. Alright, so we're gonna smoke window real quick, and then we're gonna smoke top mid. And what we talked about here, that the first entering is... So, as we talked about this, we're gonna do a map control entry down on mid, right? After the flash, as we talked about... I'm gonna get up to speed, dog. So we smoke window, we smoke this, we flash out here, and then we run down here. And the second guy, while we running down, molly stop con, so that there is no swing possible, right? And then we here to get the short reaction killed, and then we come here and then we molly short. That's what we talked about. That's our default to get mid, right? And then we run down here, and then we get an entry if that's possible. Like, clear ticket, clear down here, clear stairs, and do our shit, right? Just basic aggressive map taking. And we need to entry here also, because that's how it works. You cannot get map control if you are not taking it, right? If I would throw these smokes, and I would never do... How did it get stuck? Fuckity fuck. Let me re-smoke this. Let me re-smoke that. And let me re-smoke this. Right. So we talked about that's gonna happen. So that based on the smokes he can get free kills on short, and he can hold top mid from here. And if the molly comes in, that's why we throw this molly, so he's separated and the flash gonna get him blind, and we're gonna have a guy going up from under, right? So, but if you don't show up here, right? We don't have this entry frag, it's not happening, we don't have him around here. The opponent just can basically say like to the short guy to like, hey dude, let's fucking walk out. I didn't hit the jump, so let's come out here. And he would say like, dude, they throw the smokes, nobody's coming out. Like, let's fucking react to this shit. And then he's gonna throw a molly behind top mid, so that in case somebody is hiding, he's mollied, and the down mid guy can just walk up, and I can help him here. He can throw himself a flash like this, which gonna work perfectly, and then we can just swing down there together. Or have the window guy throw this flash, like something like this. And if you don't show up, the enemy will do this, right? So like, that's what I'm saying. We gotta be able to react onto this type of stuff. Or we can molly short from here also, if that's in your desires. It didn't pop right now, but that's the lineup. We already talked about this also. That's for map control, right? It's an early round entering, and this doesn't mean that you're the entry fragger. You have to understand, entering happens even though you are not the entry frag. If you playing in a team and you have a dedicated entry, you have to tell the guy and make him understand there will be parts of the map that you're not gonna entry on. Because if we go to A and I wanna take mid and do a mid A split, which means I'm gonna have 3 guys coming in from mid, or 3 guys coming in from ramp, and the rest coming in from mid, or the rest coming in from ramp, I don't fucking want you here entering. I rather have you entering onto the side, which is the worst angles to entries in, right? Because as an IGL, I can not really entry here, but as an IGL, I can entry onto the map control that I want to take. Because no matter what happens, until this shit is not taken, I won't really look at other things to work for, because this is the most crucial part. We talked about this, so like, you also know that this is the most crucial part that you can look for here, right? So, because of that, our actual entry fragger, who is position and everything around him, fitted a entry fragger. What do I mean everything around him? So let's talk about who can be an entry fragger and what qualifies you to be an entry fragger. An entry fragger, most of the time, is mostly qualified as one of the laid back personalities. A good entry fragger is not really egoistic, because a good entry fragger understands that he is not entering because he's gonna have a 40 fucking bomb game every time, and rather he's entering because he's gonna get murdered like a motherfucker. Yeah, that's kinda unfortunate. In tier 1, these positions are being done by the IGL, so like, you don't really have to worry about that you're gonna get this position a ton, but there is a possibility that you're gonna be this position. Unfortunately for you, you can't even help yourself with utility. Like, when we talk about solo queue entering, you kinda can help yourself with util and separate angle swings, but if we are in a team and we are doing a timing play, you can't fuck up the timing. And unfortunately or fortunately, there will be no fucking utility. And the opponent gonna fucking throw the utility like there is no tomorrow. So like, unfortunately for you, it's not a great thing to entry in actual pro level or semi-pro level, because the opponent is not stupid. They understand what they have to look forward to, and they also played like 5,000 hours each at least, and they know like when the short guy calls out that mid is taken, and then you hear a lamp flash coming in from ramp that you gotta do this, and then you gotta flash here and then swing with this. Like, everybody knows the counter plays to do, right? And if he times this perfectly, he gonna get you fucked up so badly you don't even know what hit you. Or just smoke it away. Or he's gonna molly-con, smoke this away, and flash high, so he runs with this and clears this down and kind of play rat spot from here. Like, it's something the opponent knows what the fuck is going on. That's what you have to understand. That's the most important thing you have to understand. The opponent knows what will happen most of the time. If they don't know, that's your best thing. Because when they don't know what your team is about to do, your job gonna be way more easier, because you're gonna be a surprise guy. So the first thing you need to be, you can't be an egoistic guy. You can't expect yourself to be plus KD most of the time. I'm sorry, it's just what it is. The third thing, it's gonna be more like a mechanical thing that we're gonna go through, and it's gonna be how to peek. I'm gonna teach you how to clear a site on Mirage, and that's what you have to use. I'm gonna teach you pretty much these swings and how to entry close to sandwich. I'm not gonna talk about this entering, it's more outdated. A ton of teams like to crash onto jungle, as it seems to be working better, so I'm not gonna really talk about the old stuff. The reason I'm talking about the newer stuff, because you on this channel here for actual information. If you wanna hear fake information that like, oh yes it worked but it's not the nowadays shit, there are other YouTube channels for that. I won't name anyone, I don't wanna like to have beef with anyone, but yes, you can find other channels that don't really give out reasonable information anymore, which is sad, but it is what it is. You just have to fucking live with it, you know. Like, I'm here to talk about what I thought myself, not today anymore, but back in the day, like 5 years ago. But the knowledge I'm talking about in separate role thing. On the IGL stuff, when we talked about what you need to be an IGL, I talked about on my experience and what made me an IGL versus what others can now reach to be an IGL. On entering, I called off one of my friends who are still an entry frag on tier 3 Counter-Strike and talked with him. So everything that I talk about here is a checked knowledge. It's not something I just pulled out of my ass. Don't feel like I'm selling bad information. So we're gonna do a first thing first. That's why the IGL do this most of the time, because you have to know the play. That's the first thing. Before you even start to entry, you have to know what's smoked, what's gonna be flashed, what is mollied away. That's the first and most important shit you have to know. And secondly, you have to know what type of entry route your IGL expects you to do. If you're an IGL doing this, you really don't have to ask your IGL what type of route you expect yourself to do, because I mean, it's obvious. That's why you're running the play, because you know the play. You know what I mean? Like, so that being said, now that you know what type of route and what type of utility getting thrown, yes, a ton of people undervalue the first step. I always thought this: no matter what you do in life, the first step is always set up yourself for success to start it out. Like, for example, if you want to be rich, your first step is not going to be to start getting money. Your first step gonna be to set your life around you up in a way that you are able to focus on getting that fucking money. You know what I mean? So we're gonna look at this in that way. To actually being able to entry, you have to know what angles you have to clear. So like, for example, if we have a good old days, A smokes around and we smoke everything, and I see my entry down here doing jiggers onto fucking stairs, I'm cutting you, motherfucker. Like, you're not playing on the next official. Why would you fucking play on the next official? Like, that's just fucking crazy, right? Like, you have to understand what we're smoking and what the play is up for. And also, you have to know what are we blinding with the flash. So, like, for example, we're gonna throw the lamp flash. But if you, like, the whole play is set up to blind ticket and swing for ticket, you should already be saying, like, brother, that's not gonna blind ticket. This has more chance to blind ticket, by the way. And this is a hella bad flash, because he has a ton of time to turn away. You know what I mean? So, like, you have to make sure that everything is planned out, everything is out here perfect. Utility-wise, you probably don't have a utility. You probably throw it here, or you already spend it in the round. The only reason you would have your utility on you, one, if the whole team have their shit, and second, if your utility is needed for after plant. That's the two reasons why you should have utility, right? Because it's not really likely that you're gonna survive. If you do, it's perfect, like everybody is happy that, oh, you survive, we win the round, everybody is alive, but it's not the actual stuff that probably gonna happen. So, we talked about everything. Now we can start getting to entry. You should have a good understanding of how many people you look for. Now, based on this, we already not talking about the first 20 seconds of the round. So, this is not matchmaking what we're talking about. This is not 130 just straight A take versus 4 people because you did it in the last 4 rounds and they just stack A out of anger. We talk about pro team versus pro team. So, you should, based on the information, because let's just say the IGL said it at the start of the round, like, we're gonna explore on mid, but I wanna have a split to A. Looks like it's gonna work. And you get the map control on mid, everything is set up perfectly, and you have a call that someone is on car, and we know that someone plays window because of the utility they thrown back. So now you have to use your brain a little bit before you get in. I'm not using my brain here when I'm already swinging, don't get me wrong. I'm using my brain here, like when I'm holding down, I'm thinking here. Because if he swings into the crosshair, I'm looking at the monitor, but my brain is working on to shit. And yes, I do feel feel like I have to talk about where you should think, because a ton of the time I see people here and kind of throws down like what should be the next thing, and then he kind of just do bad movement now and not really separating the angles anymore, and then see him fucking die because he's all over the place. So as I said, we thinking here. The reason we thinking here is because it's one angle, I'm holding it. If he comes into my crosshair, I just have to press the left click and it's gonna be a hit. We have more people here than they do, so like it's gonna be a trade nonetheless if you still miss your shot. So like, what should you think about value here, waiting for the call to happen? How many people I'm looking for? What possible angles they can be in? Based on previous rounds, is it possible that they gonna hide? Did they hide before? Like, just you should map it out in your brain, like what you gonna enter. Because yes, your IGL might expect you to run straight here and next to sandwich just clear out everything, but you already know based on the timing of the play you kinda have to leave out one or two angles. So for example, you're not gonna deep clear Underwoods, or you're not gonna clear Anti-Ninja, because with that it's gonna become a bit slow and it's gonna fuck up the whole play. So like, you have to set yourself up to become robotic when you enter. Because when you next to this wall about to do your first swing, there is no hesitation allowed. 1 second hesitation, you dead. Only the entries and the entry fragger who fast and not stopping, actually gaining the space, will be the entries who get to stay on the team. A well performing entry fragger gonna get cut over a mid entry fragger if the mid entry fragger never stops, because you could have a 1.3 rating on HLTV, but if you stop mid entering, nobody gonna get you from a tier 1, because in tier 1 it's not allowed. The game is faster, we have even smaller windows than we talk about, and if your IGL hits it and says like that's a perfect call, but you didn't do your goddamn motherfucking job that you had to do, and the round is getting sold by it, you're never gonna hear the end of that. So now we are set up. We talked about everything now. Like, I believe we spent 25 minutes. Let's entry. No, because the most important thing we didn't talk about is your aim. Yes, this part of the aim is kind of part of the lower tier entries also. So all we talked about before is high level, and now it's more like advanced. We should know what head level means, and not only what it means, but to know on every angle what it does. So like, you have to know this is head level, you have to know this is head level, you have to know that this is not a head level because that's head level, you have to know that's head level, that's head level, you have to know that's head level, and you have to know that here, you see I'm raising the crosshair a little bit because you see these two edges that we have on difference. That's how much higher I'm bringing my crosshair. So like, yes, we gotta talk about this, and you have to know on ticket, this is head level, and this is crouching head level, this is crouching head level here, and this is the actual head level. And you can headshot here also if he's jumping up. We gotta fucking know this shit. Yes, I know it sounds like, wait, you don't believe that I'm good at the game? I do believe you are good at the game, but also you have to believe that where your crosshair is, that's where the one tap is also. Because not every time you're gonna see the day for 2 bullets. 1 bullet can make the difference, but 2 probably can't. So that's why we need to know head level. That's why if you're an entry fragger, you gotta be able. You gotta be able to know the head level every time. Because if every bullshit happens and it's not automatic where you put your crosshair on entering, you just fucking lost. If it's not automatic where to put the crosshair to shoot a fucking headshot, you dead. That should be the first thing for everybody, to know the head fucking levels, because if you don't know it, and then you still going to entry on a mid-tier team, it's just gonna look bad. We gotta know every fucking head level. I don't care how choppy is your aim when you move around, that it's not perfect placement, it's not robotic, it's not the level fucking 4000 Dilo shit that they do, like bam 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 bam. Like, I don't care about all that fancy shit. What I care about, you swing an angle, it should be always on the head, no matter what happens. Always. Because you not always get the chance to shoot 2 bullets. Simple as that. Route wise, you know you have to enter here. Should I check this? Should I check sandwich? Should I check ninja? Should I check here? Should I check? My usual belief with what your route should be is based on what you believe you're gonna face. So versus an eco round, not checking every corner is just gonna be bad, because it's gonna become a pattern that you not going to check the corners on eco round, and then you're just gonna feel stupid when you get fucking Zeused from here, or got surprised by a 5-7 or some shit like that. So as an entry, you should know also what type of buy the opponent has, because if you know that they're gonna echoing, your entry route should become more other side wall hogging, right? Because what does other side wall hog means? It means that versus actual weapon versus weapon, you wanna be closer to a wall to swing. Like for example, if you're swinging bench or swinging down here, because I'm faster for you here, I can overswing you. So like usually here, a guy holds this angle because it's easy to one tap, right? But if I'm here, I can easily overswing that. That goes for long range also. So like from here, a ton of you not holding this the same position I do, because I kinda know this is where I can already hit a one tap. Y'all usually hold it like this. It's possible, like it's impossible to hit a fucking headshot here, especially a one tap. You probably gonna start spraying here and the guy overswings and then you just fucking dead. It is what it is. You don't think that's a big thing you have to look out, but right. And you see me do this little short shoulder peeks, it's because if we play against the full buy and we yet to check where the upper is, I have to swing every angle like it's a fucking upper I'm playing against. And jiggles work perfectly. Like this works perfectly against an upper. And if he shoot himself, wide swing. Because what we talked about already is that your main job is not to get the kills, your main job is to gain the space. When can you gain the space versus a sniper? When he already shooted the motherfucker. He shoots here, I can get here. When he swings back, he's not seeing me. I'm calling out that upper ticket. And then I'm moving. I'm never thinking about him until I'm not exploited to the same angle. Because another thing a ton of entries do is that they bait out the upper here, get to this spot, and now they only worry about this guy, like is he gonna jump and shit. And because of the bait setup that they set up, like they let the upper shoot from ticket first, so that this guy who is hiding here gonna just pick your ass off like a free fucking kill, because you didn't really do your job. You gained somewhat of a space, but you were so hung up on this upper, die to this bullshit. Because yes, it would have been bullshit if your ass is not on the, oh, I have a free fucking kill, I'm 9 and 15, I need that 10th kill. And if you would have been more like cautious about this angle also, the same way as you did 10 rounds before, he would have been a free fucking kill, because he don't really understand that when he should peek in a bait play, not after the first miss, but like the second, third shot he should be missing. That should get him activated, and you should get him here, like get the kill. Then now you can focus back onto him, but it didn't happen because you were like so hung up on him. I died to this not one times, so like I know this play, like and the second guy, he swings with me, shoots one to get him scared, and then he's throwing this molly. And I died before the molly landed, and I was like, I'm so fucking stupid. Because remember this, not only you have a play set up for your team, the opponent is doing dookie shit on the other side also. We talked about pretty much everything that a entry fragger should do. If you wanna have like let's talk about what you should improve, send me your demo, bro, and I will absolutely analyze it.
Hey man, what's a demo?
I got you, bro. A demo is a replay file of your match.
Okay, but how do I send a demo?
You can send the .dem file in the Discord server. Link is in the description.
I don't care what type of rank are you, I don't care if you 2000 rating just got into the game and learned. First things first, you should know this before you do that. If you send a demo, I will analyze it, make it a video so that it will be interesting for others. We can make it like a coach session that we're gonna do it. I'm gonna talk with you with the shared screen and tell you what my beliefs are. You can tell me what you believed were the actual idea. I'm all open for that. But you should also remember, I do definitely have the right to always say like, we gotta be able to shoot better. It's not because I'm saying that you miss too much, it's because I'm saying that you should have that kill. The play is set up for the kill. Everything happened proper to that play. And yet the kill did not happen. You know what I mean? So like, if I'm harsh on you, just so you know, it's because I want you to actually get better. As I believe everyone in my coaching world, I wanna get everybody as best as they can. And it would be lovely if we could get the people away from cheating by actually teaching them how to play the game. That's my thing. I actually start to understand that most of the cheaters that the game have, they are not cheating because they wanna cheat or that's the only thing they can do. Most of the cheaters that cheat are not playing alone. And they cheat so that the friend who they play with actually believes that they are on the same level. That's why a ton of cheaters in CS trying to hide their shit. I mean, they do it hella badly and you are able to call them out, but like, I tend to see that there is not a lot of cheaters who queue solo queue. So yeah, that's my shit that's gonna start. I'm going to start this today, that let's get the world a better place by teaching the cheaters and not allowing them to cheat. So I'm going to start teaching the fucking game. So yeah, I'm kinda back. I wasn't on a vacation or some shit like that. It just takes a ton of time and effort for me to record these videos. Yeah, I'm talking 40 minutes straight. I just don't have that many free time usually on my week. So yeah, I'm glad to be back and produce content. And you should definitely check every other content that I do, by the way, because I don't only want to be an educational motherfucker. I want to be a guy who can just come home after work and then just boot up the game and people will love the guy for who he is. But it's not my job to love myself with 40,000 people. That's why I said check it out. If you like it, I recommend staying. If you don't like it, then I'm definitely going to do videos like this. Yeah, but this takes more time because I have to talk with friends who still playing the game and not burn down from the cheating that this game actually offers nowadays. That being said, I wanna thank you, your beautiful, beautiful eyes that you watch this video through. Should we have a fucking code word? I mean, everybody do this nowadays, but maybe if you want to have a code word, we could do it. But yeah, subscribe, follow my Twitch, I guess. If you don't want to follow my Twitch, I'ma leave it up to you. But see you guys.